You tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need. We give you outspoken thoughts about all the headlines. We talk baseball, football, hockey, and more. No matter the topic, we cover it. Get ready for the show and keep it outspoken. Keep it outspoken. We keep it outspoken only on the Sportscast. Tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the Outspoken Sportscast. This is Brian speaking, your host, and we got your other host, Craig, on. Brother man, how's it going?
How you doing, sir?
Doing good, doing good. It's the Outspoken Network. We got your divisional round edition. We're going to talk, break down, and predict the divisional round of the playoffs. We should have some very fantastic games this weekend, and then we got your headlines of the week right after that, guys. Take care. Stay. All right, guys, welcome in. We got your divisional round. We're going to jump into that here in a second. Welcome in. It's the Outspoken Network here. And we had some good games last week. We all went, the wild card weekend lived up to its name. And we're looking to hopefully have some really good games this week. You never know until they're played. But the first game on the roster, Saturday at 3:30, the Jacksonville travels to Kansas City to play. And this is probably the game. Probably going to be a blowout. I mean, Kansas City's the better football team. The weather will make it pretty interesting. I believe that it's supposed to be raining with a chance of snow. It's on that borderline, 34% with the wind chill, a little lower than that maybe. But I just know that Trevor Lawrence can't throw 4 interceptions against Patrick Mahomes and win this football game. And there is a record on the line here, Craig. Trevor Lawrence has never lost.
Never lost.
Never lost on a Saturday. So that will be probably broken. This Saturday.
No. If it's not, it's a real thing.
They're 9-point favorites. Kansas City is. They're the better football team. I'm not saying Jacksonville can't win this game, but it's going to be highly.
A lot of things
unlikely.
will have to happen.
They'll have to win. They have to win the turnover battle. Trevor Lawrence will have to play the game of his career. Probably
Patrick Mahomes would probably have to not play the second half.
Like this one's tough.
There's not going to be a 27-point comeback.
Maybe by Kansas City. Maybe by Kansas City. A couple fumbles here. And
I would not believe Jacksonville to ever be up 27-0 ever. So, no, it's just Jacksonville they got a good win and they made their statement and they are an up and coming team and Doug Peterson in his first year did his job but this is where the run ends. Kansas City will move on, and I don't see any way that they don't. I don't see any way that they don't advance somehow and move through this game.
What you're hoping, because Jacksonville just came off this awesome win, right? Coming down 27 points. They got the momentum. You're hoping since Kansas City got a bye, they come out a little flat, and you can get out on them early on the road. Now,
if Jacksonville covers the spread, then mission accomplished.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you keep it
Lose by
within
8.
keep it within 10, keep it within 7, lose by a field goal, that would be a win. 100%. Because I think they're just going to get boat raced. And it's not even going to be a game. But every game in the first round that looked like it was going to be an absolute blowout turned out to be, Buffalo was up 17. Jacksonville was down 27.
27.
I
saw a TikTok of this guy waking up a Chargers fan, and it said on there, he fell asleep and it was 27-7, and he woke him up when the game was over.
Yeah,
and he's staring at the abyss.
I literally, I'm not gonna lie. I turned it off and started watching Tulsa King and went over and went on to Paramount and started streaming stuff because it was over. And then all of a sudden the phone starts blowing up and I'm like, is this a real thing? Is this really going to happen? And I turn it back and here comes Jacksonville down the field and they kick a field goal and I thought he missed it.
See,
and
it looked like he missed it.
It looked like he pushed it right out of there. And now they would have gotten another chance because they were offsides.
Yeah. I thought I had the game recorded, but apparently I didn't. And I was like, the next day I was like, all right, I'm gonna go and watch this game, and it wasn't recorded. I was a little upset, but Jacksonville. I think this might be closer than they probably lose by 8, 9, maybe 10, but good season for them.
Well, that's what the playoffs are about. You shouldn't ever have a 31-10. It just shouldn't be that.
All right, so we both had the Kansas City Chiefs. Cat would be happy if you're out there listening. Cat, feel free to comment here, but we both have KC winning this game. Now, this Saturday night is going to be a really good game, and when you have two divisional teams playing against each other
for a third time
even in just a regular season game, it's good.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tougher game. This is in the playoffs. A lot more at stake. It's Giants and Eagles. They're traveling to the Eagles. The biggest question mark in this game is Hurts going to be healthy. How healthy is Hurts? Because the last game he played, they rushed him back. He didn't look all that great. They won the game, but he wasn't making those deep throws. He looked a little.
He didn't run at all. He didn't not run. One rush attempt.
And he didn't throw the ball too far down the field. Didn't look like
if you can eliminate that from his arsenal, that's a different ball game. You can play defense a ton better.
And it's funny because I think that goes for both teams.
100%.
Last week Daniel Jones came out and was able to run the ball, and he's not going out there and running like Hurts, but he runs in spots that kills you.
Yes.
3rd and 6 when you think you're getting off the field, and he knows when to run. He had like 74 yards. You're like, that's not it's not like Hurts will rush for over 100 something or Lamar Jackson.
No.
But
it's
he
the
does
same thing Prescott did.
And,
it's the same thing Prescott did on Monday. He ran when he needed to, and like the bootleg, the everybody thought that was going up the middle, and he walked into the end zone because nobody's used to him doing that.
Yep.
And so Daniel Jones is known for that. He can do it. It's not a design like the Eagles. They don't draw it up that way, but he is elusive. He can do that. And if you take that away from Hurts, it changes the entire. You can take that spy that you have to use to spy on Hurts. You could take that guy and put him into coverage. You could take that guy and blitz him.
All the fakes they try to use on the offense with the misdirections and all that's going to go out the window, and that's a big part of it. I think we will see him run more than he did the last game of the season. What are some keys? What are some keys for the Eagles to win this football game? What do you think is the key for them
for the Eagles to win the football game? If Hurts can hit Brown and utilize the deep threat. That guy's opened that offense up.
Beast.
This year. at least once a game he's hitting he's hitting Hollywood for 60 and 70 yards. And if you can have that and pull things back, well, then that's going to open up your running game. If you don't have that, if the Giants don't think you can throw the ball 30 yards down the field, then they can play up in front and don't have to worry about guys going by them. So I think you have to be able to throw the deep threat. I think you have to be able to run the football, and I think you have to win the turnover battle. The Giants have been playing very well right now. They just lost to this team by 6, and they didn't have anybody playing. The last game of the season, they lose by 6, and they didn't play anybody.
Yeah.
Now, who was really trying, who wasn't? Week 18, nobody really knows. But I'm going to tell you right now, if the Giants were to win this game, I wouldn't be shocked.
I wouldn't either. The way they're playing, the way they're coached,
they're playing with house money right now.
Yeah, they went in there last week against Minnesota, and they punched them in the mouth. They stayed with them blow for blow, and like I said, that Daniel Jones and Minnesota really didn't spy him. They let him do this late in the game when they needed to stop him. He's 3rd and 6, and he rushed for 8 yards, got a first down, and those things kind of kill your defense. And he knows when to do it. I think if the Giants win this game, it's going to be a strong hand of Barkley running the football well. And
he has had a great season.
Yes,
and it's
comeback
been
player of the year,
and it's been quiet.
The comeback player of the year award. I mean,
he doesn't rush for 200 yards in a game. He doesn't have 4 touchdowns. He doesn't. But I'm telling you right now, he was running in that Minnesota game. He was running with purpose.
He was, and he
looked
good.
And those guys are fired up. If I'm Philadelphia right now, that was not the team I wanted to see.
Yeah, they're playing well. Dayball's my candidate for coach of the year. I think the job he's done there.
I totally agree. I think that's all voted on before the playoffs, but I'm telling you,
Daniel, for a guy to have Daniel Jones, who we all thought was a pathetic quarterback, looking the way he's playing, he played lights out last week. If he can go in there and do this, I would not be surprised if the Giants walk away with this. They're playing tough on defense. They're playing really well. Thibodeau's had a good year for them. They're rookie out of Oregon, coming off the edge, murdering quarterbacks, and then doing snow angels
next to him while they're trying to get medical attention.
To me, the biggest question mark when predicting this game is going to be Hurts. If Hurts is healthy, I think they win this game. If he's not healthy,
you'll know in the first 15 minutes.
I don't think they win this game. My pick, though, is going to be I want to pick the Giants. I want to go with Dayball. I want to go with the energy, but my pick is going to be the Eagles. I think they're going to be able to slow down Daniel Jones, stop him from running the ball, and they're going to make him one-dimensional. Can he beat you just throwing the ball? Can they take Saquon Barkley away? I think they slow him down with that defensive front from the Eagles, and they have a great secondary, and Daniel Jones will probably make some costly mistakes in this one. I just have the Eagles, and this is probably a 3-point ball game. I give it to the Eagles at home.
I'm gonna go the other way, and I'm gonna go the other way in a kind of a similar fashion to how I went with this game last week. Is I want them to win because I want Dallas to win, and I want the NFC Championship to be in Dallas, and I want to play the Giants and don't want to play the Eagles. I don't have any confidence in Hurts. I know he had a good year. I know he's supposed to be this newfound, I'm a great quarterback, but there's just something about him that screams not in a big game, not in under the playoff lights. And he had a week off and he's hurt, and those injuries normally don't heal right away. It's not something that you can just put a shot in, and where he from everything I've read, where his shoulder is hurt, cortisone doesn't affect it. So and clearly everything you heard was accurate when you watched him in week 18. He could not throw the ball down the field. He refused to run the ball. He even came out and said after the game, "I'm in pain." I'm hurting. If I had to play right now, I don't know if I could do it. And if it's that bothersome, I don't see how 6 days off is gonna heal that. And so, or 13 days off or whatever it is, from the last time they played a football game. I think it's a good game. I think it's a close game, but I'm gonna think the Giants can get it done.
Yeah, this is
I mean, their
tough game
defensive
to pick.
coordinator Martindale, he loves to blitz. He loves to deal. They played him tough both times they played him, and I just think the Giants right now are playing with house money and are going to go in there and try to catch a surprise deal.
All right, yeah, that one's a tough game, and that's the one that I was wanting to go out to Pluckers to watch, and I was like, well, I can't make it Saturday night. Let's go Sunday, but. All right. Well, the next game could be the best game of the weekend. We got Sunday at 2:00. I believe it's 2:00. Yeah, 2:00 CBS. Bengals and Bills. This is in Buffalo. This is a coin flip for me, Craig. To me, it's going to be. I got two question marks. One, which Allen's going to show up? Is he going to be the guy that turned over the ball 3 times last week? Because I don't think he could turn the ball over versus Joe Burrow and walk away with a victory. And the other question I have for the Bengals is that you're missing some offensive line. We're going to have the same question marks. Can you block from Joe Burrow? This defense for the Bills is really good. This one's a tough showdown. You know, they didn't play their matchup this year because of the whole DeMar Hamlin that game, and the Bengals looked like they were going to win that game. I mean, they started off really well against them. You never know. I think the Josh Allen revenge tours kind of slowed down. The brakes have kind of hit on that, and I like Joe Burrow in this game. I just think he's calm, cool, and collective. I think he's used to not having an offensive line. I think the Bills. I think Bengals I think Josh Allen's going to throw a couple interceptions again, cost them a football game, and I think the Bills are going to lose one they're going to regret and kind of take the just go back home and kind of wonder what they got to do to get to the next level. I like Buffalo. I like their head coach, Sean McDermott. I like the team. I just feel like they should have lost last week against Miami. They did not play well. The Bengals, now get me wrong, the Bengals didn't play well either. But I just like Joe Burrow right now better than Josh Allen, and I like the team has the better defense in my opinion, and I think they're going to be able to rush Josh Allen and make him make some crucial mistakes in this game. And I got the Bengals winning this one. Very tough. I'm fine with both. Either teams win this game, I'm fine with it because I don't want to see Kansas City go to the Super Bowl again. So I'm hoping they can win. But I got the Bengals taking care of the Bills this weekend for, I guess you could call it an upset. But to me, these two teams are pretty much on the same tier level as how good they can be.
Yeah, 5.5 is just, I don't know where they came up with that number.
It should be 3 or
2
4,
or 3,
maybe like
yeah.
3.5, 2.5.
Because 2 basically is what home field advantage gives you, and that would mean on a neutral field it would be a pick'em, which was exactly what this game should be. First of all, it should be on a neutral field.
I believe 3 is home field.
It's just what it used to be. That's what it used to be. They've kind of moved it.
Okay.
But
it should be added.
I'm not huge into gambling either.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is, if you watched the game they played, and even though they played 7 minutes of it, Cincinnati marched on the field, put 7 on the board, held them in the red zone, and was marching right back down the field to put 7 more on the board. Now, granted, it was in Cincinnati, so a little bit different. You weren't in snow, you weren't in wind, you weren't in ice. Have no idea. Did not look up the weather for Sunday. Don't know if it's going to be 18 foot of snow.
I'll look that up right now.
But the bottom line is, Joe Burrow is, if I didn't have a football team, this would be it. Because this kid, they asked him the other day, what do you see as your window of winning championships and being successful and having the success you had. He said, as long as I'm the quarterback of this football team, that's the window. and the offensive line question, he didn't have his offensive line when they were playing the Bills 3 weeks ago. Lyle Collins was already hurt, and the bottom line is I think Cincinnati can win this game, and I honestly think Cincinnati is going to represent. They're going to the Super Bowl again. I had Buffalo early in the year. I think the UC injury, I think you're going to see that develop more in the offseason. I think you might see Allen miss next season. I honestly do. I honestly think in the offseason he might have to have the Tommy John surgery. And I think he's trying to get by because he sees an opportunity to he sees that they have some momentum and deal, and he's a little bit better than he was, but this has not been the same ever since that injury was diagnosed. He's not been the same. The team hasn't been the same. He can't go down the field. He's not throwing damn bombs to Davis. He's not accurate. He's all over the map, and I think Cincinnati wins this football game.
Well, let me tell you the forecast.
Yeah, 7 probably
Sunday night.
It's 2:00.
80%. Oh well, yeah, 2 p.m. Okay, you got a 68% chance of precipitation, snow. And then right around 5 o'clock is 80% chance. So we're gonna see. It looks like it'll be a snow game.
As the game goes on, it's gonna be snowmageddon, which means it's gonna be low scoring. And
I'm surprised we both have the Bengals winning this one. I figured you were going Bills.
Honestly, you know what? That actually probably plays into Cincinnati's hand because they can run the football and Buffalo cannot.
You're exactly right.
Mixon is much better than anything that Buffalo has. And so if it's going to be windy and blustery and whatever, I think Cincinnati has the advantage to run the football.
You are exactly right. I thought you're going to go the advantage for Buffalo because they play in the cold. But let me tell you what. That's not an advantage. Green Bay doesn't never have an advantage when we're at home.
It's not exactly a beach in Cincinnati right now. Cincinnati, Ohio is not exactly Panama City, Florida over here.
All right. Well, this is your game, Craig. This is the Cowboy game. 49ers, Cowboys, just like back in the day. To me, this is... Well, I'm not going to say that, okay? I'm not going to say an easy pick for me. Where do you want to start? Last week I said it's a Dak Prove-It game. But this is the ultimate Dak Prove-It game. You know why? Because it's going to be all on his shoulders. You're not going to run the ball on the 49ers. You're just not going to do it. You're going to have to use Pollard out of the backfield and toss him the football if you want him to get it. This defense for the 49ers is the best rushing defense in the league and the best passing defense in the NFL as well, on top of that. Dak Prescott looked good last week. Okay. That was against the Bucs. 8-9 Bucs, not a very good football team. Dak's not going to have all day to throw the football. He's got to get the ball out quick. He's going to be able to throw on the run. He's going to make accurate passes with the football if they want to win this game. He's got to, if Dak plays the way he did last week, and this defense is able to tackle and cause Purdy some distraction back there, and Micah Parsons has him a game, they have a small chance to win this football game. But I just don't think it's going to happen. I think this is where the Cowboys' luck runs out. I think every matchup on the board, when you look at it, goes to the 49ers. They have the better defense. They have the better offense. Cowboys have the better quarterback. But Purdy has been pretty dang good so far. And we're all wondering kind of when that birdie bubble is going to pop. And is he going to have a stinker game? I don't know. But the Cowboys don't tackle the ball. They didn't tackle real well last week. 49ers able to run the ball on them. I think 49ers win this one. And they probably win it by 10.
Well,
I know you probably don't want to hear that, and I want the Cowboys to win, but I just don't see a way they do.
I don't see it the same way at all. Dallas's offense is averaging 31 points a game, and the back end of this defense is expandable. The corners on San Francisco are the weakness. The safeties are the weakness. They have one solid cornerback, and he's good, but he doesn't follow the wide receivers around. They'll move guys around. San Francisco does not throw the ball down the field. So Dallas's back end defense, that cornerback, that Israel Kwamu played well. And I think Dallas did not put him in football games the last 3 weeks of the season because they didn't want to tip their hand. I think Dan Quinn had a plan for Israel Kwamu to play all along, and he's been getting him ready in practice leading up to the playoff game, and he played a very good game the other day. Tampa was not able to go down the field, but the bottom line is the 49ers don't throw the ball down the field. They throw 5-yard screen routes and run for 60. And you will have to rally to the football. You will have to tackle. I believe having Leighton Vander Esch and having Micah Parsons are huge because both of those guys run to the football. They know where to be. They know to be in position. I think Dallas can put some pressure on this kid. When he had 5 yards of separation or more from his wide receivers, he was 11 for 13 for 200 and some odd yards and a touchdown. When he had less than 5 yards separation, he was 9 for 23 for a little over 100 yards. The bottom line is you're going to have to stay on these receivers. You're going to have to clog up the middle of the field. You're going to have to put some pressure on him and get him off his spot. You're going to have to play the perfect football game. But when I go back and look at last year's game,
And that's why it's not going to happen.
but when you go back,
football game.
But when you go back and look at last year's game, it wasn't 10 points. This team with a better quarterback put up 23 points.
Well,
Same team.
Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, Purdy has been putting up more points than Jimmy Garoppolo.
He was the last pick of the draft for a reason. He was not.
Obviously, he was missed. A lot of people missed on this guy. He's out there.
Did they?
And he's not. He's out there throwing darts his first game against Tom Brady deep downfield, blowing this team out of the water 35-10 or 7. I'm just saying.
That game changed on the first play of the game. The first play of the game, Tampa came off the edge, unblocked, and hit him in his mouth and sacked him, and he fumbled, and Tampa got the football. And the ref throws a flag down and said, you hit him too hard. 15 yards for roughing the passer. Here's the ball back.
What do you do after that? They won
35-7.
35-7.
That's not the point.
That is the point.
No, it's not, because you get the ball at midfield, you have the ball, you have a turnover, everything changed. You gave them the ball back, you gave them 15 yards, they're able to go down and score.
That was the whole game right there, that one play.
It changes the whole perspective of the game.
The very first play of the game.
Behind. Yes.
The very first play of the game does not dictate the rest of the outcome of the football game.
It gives San Francisco points that they shouldn't have had and takes points off the board.
Yeah, but 35-10.
I get it.
I'm just saying, Purdy is throwing some darts down the field. It's not.
But Kansas City beat the brakes off this team. That's the last good team they played. They haven't played a defense like Dallas all year. Everybody acts like Dallas's defense is terrible.
Well, the defense for Dallas started off on fire, but they have slipped off halfway through the season. They finally played a good game last week, but you didn't play nobody. Tampa Bay scored 17 points a game. They're not a good team. They're 8-9. The Packers are 8-9. They're not a good football team. You blew out a good team, or you blew out a bad team in the playoffs. You got your road win. You beat Tom Brady finally, but they're not a good football team.
But they should have been able to expose Dallas for what they are. And
Not Tom Brady with his noodle arm over there. The team's been bad all year long in the Tampa Bay, except the one game they played y'all and they won.
Who has played Shanahan's offense more than anybody?
Well,
Dan Quinn has seen him. Yes.
Yeah.
You don't think he's going to have a plan for
He will, but you got to be able to tackle. You can have a plan all you want.
Okay, this is the same team we played last year, and they put up 23 points.
Craig.
And on the last play of the game,
if
the ref spots the football, then Dallas has a shot.
Answer me, Craig. No, don't give me that. Y'all should have ran the ball with 13 seconds.
But what I'm saying is
they weren't the same football team.
It's the same football team.
It's not the same football team.
The quarterback's different. The quarterback's different.
Birdie and you got McCaffrey. Huge difference.
No, you don't. No.
Yes. McCaffrey and Debo. You got to go.
Debo was there last year. Debo was there last year.
I know, but you're adding the two to the same mix. This is not the same football team. And I don't get it, Craig. I don't get it, Craig, because you've gone in talking about McCaffrey and the 49ers, how good they are, and they're the best team in the NFC team, and now you're like, oh, Cowboys going to come here and beat them, no problem.
I didn't say they're going to beat them, no problem. But there are paths that you can beat them. They're not going to just – this was the worst matchup for the 49ers. They haven't played a defense like this. They haven't played a pass rush. I don't think it get blown out. I think San Francisco wins the game, but I think they win.
Oh, you're picking the Niners. I'm surprised you're picking the Niners. Okay.
It just there's
I'm just surprised.
Bosa didn't play the second half last year. He left the game with a calf injury.
He's a beast.
You're going to have to
double team
slide help to that side. You're going to have to use a tight end. You're going to have to use
Zeke Elliott,
a running back. You're going to have to use somebody to protect that side. 100%. Can you hold the rest of the line at bay? That you're going to have to stay out of third and long situations. You're not going to be able to cause them to be in a track stance. You're going to have to stay out of the penalties. They had 14 penalties last year for 90 yards. You cannot do that. You cannot hold. You cannot have the people that now the bonus is the people that had all the penalties are no longer on this football team. Randy Gregory punched somebody in the face and you got a 15-yarder. He's gone. You have two offensive linemen that were holding were gone. And the referee in this game has thrown less flags than everybody. Keep that in mind. The other three referees that are in the other three football games are the most flagged referees. They threw more flags than anybody in the NFL. The draw that the Cowboys-Niners got, this guy holds a flag in his pocket. So if you watch people getting held and there's no flags, Bosa's going to get held. Parsons is going to get held. You're not going to have a lot of flags. They're going to let them play football. And I think this is going to come down to field goal kicking. And apparently Dallas's field goal kicker can't play football without a white little disc that he puts a football on. As much as I see a pathway to Dallas winning this football game, I just don't think they have the firepower. I'd like to see them win. I think there's a path to see them. If you tell me on Monday morning that the Dallas Cowboys are in the NFC Championship, I'm going to be like, yeah, I called that it was possible. But the Brock Purdy train has got to come to a stop at some point. The kid's not going to be the last pick in the draft to win the Super Bowl. Because if he is, you got problems in San Francisco. Because you got three quarterbacks and you don't know what to do with it.
Problem. He just won his Super Bowl. That's your guy. That's a good problem to have.
I could see where Shanahan screws that up. I just
look. The whole question to success for the Dallas Cowboys is Dak Prescott.
Yes.
And he's not he had a great game last week, don't get me wrong, but he had all the time in the world. He wasn't running around. He didn't have the pressure, and he should be doing what he did last week when you playing up against the Buccaneers.
Understand.
He had a heck of a game. But he's not going to be able to do that now. He's not going to be able to sit back. He's going to be rushed. And what does he do when he's rushed? He makes poor throws that get intercepted.
All right,
especially this
Austin.
season. This season, he's had a
All
plethora of
right, Austin.
interceptions. It's the truth. You can give me the stats of all the other stuff, and I'm not saying Dak's a terrible quarterback, but it's the truth this season, whether it be on the wide receiver or whether it be a ball thrown behind or just a bad pass. I just don't think Dak is going to get it done. I got the Niners winning, and I think it's a little more than you think.
I do not think it's a runaway. I do not. I
And
absolutely
it's
do
10
not.
points a runaway in the NFL.
It's double digits. I don't see that. I
two
see
scores.
this. I see this being a last possession football game. And
How mad are you going to be if your kicker misses the game winner? Oh man!
I see something like that playing out.
Oh.
I see something like that. I see it. This comes down to. This is going to come down to time management, which Mike McCarthy is horrible at.
Terrible.
It's going to come down to field position. It's going to come down to a turnover battle. The Brock Purdy threw 2 interceptions last week that were not caught. Dallas isn't going to do that. If you throw Dallas the football, they're going to catch it. My biggest concern in this football game, and keep in mind that I say this, is Trayvon Diggs in the early part of the game trying to jump a route and they run a double move and they go deep and burn him. If you watch every game that Trayvon Diggs has struggled in, it's because he jumped around and got burned early, and then the rest of the game he plays 44 yards off and lets everything go in front of him. And that's what San Francisco wants, because that's what San Francisco does, is throw slide routes, hook routes.
I'm calling first play of the game.
If I'm
they fake the handoff,
if I'm Shanahan,
double move.
If I'm Shanahan, I go straight at Diggs and run a double move, and he jumps the route trying to make a big play early because Dallas knows they have to have turnovers, they have to have everything go right. He jumps the route, and Ayuk or Debo goes deep, and the rest of the game changes. If that happens, watch out.
Ayuk had 1,000 yards this year.
100%. He had 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. He was quiet. That team is very deadly. That team, Christian McCaffrey, they had 169 yards with Elijah Mitchell last year. If Dallas does that again, they're going to lose a football game. Now, if they are able to control the middle of the field like they were last week and not allow the run and cause Purdy to pass, then you're in a game. You'll know by halftime. If Dallas is in this game at halftime, then we're all right. If they're down 20-0, if they're down, double digits at haltime, then
unless they pull Seattle like last week.
I don't see that happening. I just
that would be bad.
The 49ers get better as time goes on. Purdy gets more confidence. That kid is big on confidence. If you give that kid confidence, if he can make a couple throws and get rolling, that's when he gets the first part of that game. He struggled against Seattle, and then the second half he throws a pass. Debo breaks it down the sidelines, and they were off and running. And yes, Dak cannot turn the football over. He cannot have 4 interceptions. He cannot give the ball away. The offensive line of Dallas is better than what the Niners have faced. The defensive line is better than what they have faced. But Dallas needs to come out early and set the tone like they did against Tampa. They need to, the first drive of the game, they need to sack Purdy. They need to let him know we're here. If he has time, he will tear you up.
You know how I could see this game ending? It was playing out in my head. I could see it, Dak Prescott trying to drive down the field to win the game, and Bosa with a strip sack fumble.
100%.
Game over.
100%.
So many ways this plays out.
100%.
I'm interested to see how this game plays out.
Bosa played a half of football last year, left in the early part of the second quarter, and already had two sacks. They had 5 sacks at Prescott last year. You cannot have that. You've got to protect Dak Prescott.
If we had to circle one game on the calendar this weekend, which one do you think will be the best? If you had to pick one to be the best to watch, which would be it?
I think Dallas, San Francisco could be that if the deal. But if I had to pick one, it would be Buffalo, Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think that one's probably the best one.
Yeah.
The other 3 could easily be great. And I mean, the Jacks could show up, but
They could be the other three could be great, or they could be one-sided.
Yeah. It could go either way. And last week we
Yes.
thought it was going one-sided, and they were great. And this
Now,
week it could be the other way. We thought they
The
could be great.
one thing that you have an advantage of in San Francisco, you're not going to run into snow. You're not going to run into cold. You're not going to run
Cowboys
into
are going to run into grass, and they don't play well.
They played okay on grass last week, so I don't.
Well, they had this weird thing where they're like 1-4 now, 2-4
Yeah,
on grass.
I-
Weird concept.
And everything is against Dallas. They haven't been to the NFC Championship in 30 years. They haven't won on the road. They haven't won in blue jerseys. They haven't won here. I mean, if you want to stack up a million ways of deal, but again, I think like the Giants, I think the Dallas Cowboys are playing with house money. They weren't. Nobody wanted it. Nobody expected them to win. They figured they were going to go in, they were going to lay down in the playoffs, and they were going to get run over because Tom Brady is the best quarterback to ever play the game. And they weren't going to win because that's
y'all
what
are
Dallas
favored
does.
though in this game.
They were. But what I'm saying is Dallas's playoff persona, playoff deal is they lay down and die.
Because y'all Charger it up, but you Cowboy it up.
And that's what happened.
Mhm.
And they did not do that.
They're going to do that this game, I think.
I don't know.
Here's what's funny to me, Craig, and here's what's
When they're the underdog, they seem to play different. They seem to play with a more chip on their shoulder. They seem to, and I think the last month of the season, they just didn't have a lot of interest. A lot of, I don't know why. I don't know if that was McCarthy. I don't know if he didn't have the team ready. I don't know. But that wasn't the same football team that played it wasn't the same football team that went into Minnesota and dominated Minnesota. It wasn't the same football team that beat the Eagles. It wasn't the same football team that won against Cincinnati early in the season. This team has won a lot of football games that they weren't supposed to win, but the ones they are supposed to win, for whatever reason, they didn't show up.
Here's what's interesting and funny to me. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I listen to 105 through the Fan. I love Sean and RJ in the morning, but what's funny to me is last week they did a poll on who was going to win the game.
Oh, absolutely.
And Tampa dominated it.
Yeah.
Tampa dominated the poll, and then this week, after being scared of Tampa and that most fans think they're going to lose, they're like, we're going to beat the 49ers. I'm like, wait, what? The 49ers are way better than the team you just faced.
Absolutely.
I don't see how you have more confidence that you're going to beat this team than you did against the Bucs.
Because that is the Dallas fan base. That is 100% the Dallas fan base.
And that's why
that's what drives me bonkers. I am a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan, and it drives me bonkers because the on and off again, the Dak Prescott, you're terrible at football, and you're the worst quarterback ever. But then last week, we love you, Dak. Oh, my God, you're the hero. Like, stop it. Like, overall, there are 26 other teams that would take Dak Prescott tomorrow to be their franchise quarterback. And I mean, Tony Romo threw 6 interceptions in a football game and came back and won somehow. It's possible. You're not going to do that in the playoffs. You're not going to do that against the 49ers. But the bottom line is, just because you throw an interception, I mean, Josh Allen threw 3 last week. Still won.
It's going to cost them.
Trevor Lawrence threw 4. Still won. Like, it's not the end of the world. The defense can bail you out. I don't see the 49ers putting up 30 points this game. I see the 49ers putting up 20 points this game. Now, can Dallas score 30? I don't know. But on average, I can tell you right now, over the last handful of the season, when Kellen Moore draws up his wizardry plays, then they score 30. Tampa's defense is no slouch. They may have only averaged 17 points a game, but their defense isn't terrible. And Dallas put up 24 against them. They would have put up 30 if they kick an extra point.
Yeah.
The bottom line is you'll know in the first 15 minutes if Dallas is really ready to play. Can San Francisco, Christian McCaffrey has been a thorn in their side. He was a thorn in their side in Carolina, and I think he's going to be a thorn in their side now. I don't know if Quinn has a plan for that. Is the guy that scares me more than Samuel, more than Ayuk, more than Kittle, more than Brock Purdy. The X factor to me is Christian McCaffrey. If you can keep him under wraps and not have 50-yard breakouts, then I absolutely think they can win the football game. Dallas has to be in the football within a score at halftime. If they're within one score at halftime, it's a game. I just don't see the 49ers putting up 30 or 40. I just don't. I don't see this game unless Prescott just has the worst game he's had, unless he has a game like in Washington where he just can't do anything. And that's possible because the offensive line was like a turnstile and they were just like, everybody come on in. They're like a greeter at Walmart. Come on in. But I just think this version of the offensive line they found last week is the best version they had. Peters isn't going to play. They can say he's going to. He's not. He's got a hip injury. He's not playing. The offensive line that finished the game in Tampa is going to be the offensive line that plays on Sunday night. And at the end of the day, push come to shove, I think it comes down to the last possession. I don't trust the kicker. I don't trust time management. So I'm going to go with the 49ers. But I see a pathway that Dallas is in this football game right to the end.
I called it earlier Niners by 10, but all right, well, Craig, let's head on over to the headlines of the week. All right, we got some coaches that are getting fired or resigning. The Ravens offensive coordinator Greg Roman resigns, and this is kind of the biggest one I think so far. He resigns after the offense didn't do so well this year.
Resigns.
When I see resigns, I think it's, hey, if you want to resign before we fire you, go ahead.
Yeah.
Is that because it's kind of weird that you fire an offensive coordinator when your starting quarterback refuses to play for you and you're playing with a backup? Maybe they feel like Greg Roman couldn't bring out the best. Maybe Lamar Jackson called him up and said, hey, you want me to come back? Well, I start with this. Get Greg Roman out of here. I don't know.
They said that Lamar will be involved in the hiring of the offensive coordinator. So that tells me like he did not agree with Roman's scheme and how he was used and deal. And they did. If you go point breakdown, the end of the year was terrible. I think, Harbaugh said 200% he's back. I think they franchise tag him. I think they're going to have to. I think he's not going to deal. They'll pay him for the deal, try to work out a deal.
You either franchise tag him and you either do two things. You franchise tag him and give him a big contract and he's happy, or you franchise tag him to trade him. He's not going to play in the franchise tag next season if he didn't play for you on his contract this season. It's not going to happen. So those are your only two options, I think. They've got to hope that Lamar's still in it. He doesn't have an agent. He's doing this all by himself. You got to hope that they can reel this one thing. They can reel him in. If you want him back, I would love to see the Ravens say, we don't think we can win with you. Your leadership's crap. You quit on your team. See you later.
I would honestly, I understand the whole. You're not going to give up on a guy like this and get nothing in return. But I would love for them to tell him to just kick rocks.
I would love it.
It would be the greatest franchise move ever. Kick rocks. Go whatever. I don't care. You're not our quarterback. I don't support you. You laid out on a team when we needed you most. I have nothing to say to you.
I don't know how I can. walk in there and talking about giving it your all when
100%.
you're like, dude,
100%.
you said it home while we were in the
If I'm
playoffs.
anybody else on that roster, I don't want him in my huddle. I'm not going to play for that guy.
Now I did a
You didn't even get on the plane. You didn't even get on the plane.
I did a solo shot going off on Lamar Jackson the other day, and if you guys want to look that up, it's on the YouTube. But
you didn't get on the plane.
Absolutely asinine, and there are a couple guys that come out that are some veteran players for the Ravens that said, "Hey, we need to pay Lamar." But you're not going to have guys come out and blast him from the team because obviously it brings up a lot of drama, and I think they want to keep that in house. But I don't know. I just think it's a bad look. But maybe this is a sign for the Ravens to get rid of Greg Roman and have Lamar's input to make it seem like they're going to give him more of a control of the football team to get him to come back. But
could you imagine Dak Prescott when he had his thumb injury or any other quarterback in the NFL that's hurt, that's whatever.
Aaron Rodgers played with a broken thumb this year.
Yeah, but could you imagine Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr telling him, I'm not getting on the plane. I'm not coming. Yeah. I'm not standing on the sideline. I'm not putting a headset on. I'm not helping the guy that's back up. I'm not calling plays. I'm not telling you my input. I'm going to sit at the house just like every other fan. I'm going to put my feet up. I'm going to eat some Cheetos, and I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to watch y'all get your tail kicked. And then I want you to give me all the money. I want you to back up the Brinks truck because what? Did you just – no.
And then they barely lose with the backup. To me, that says maybe we don't need to pay Lamar.
Maybe you don't need to pay Lamar because we didn't get the break speed off us without you.
Yep. Dolphins fire Boyer, their defensive coordinator.
Somebody's got to be a scapegoat.
Somebody's got to be it. And Vikings fire DC Ed Donatel. I think this is his first season.
Again, it was.
One of the worst defenses in the NFL. And if they had a defense to go with that offense, maybe they wouldn't be frauds, but they were frauds.
You heard what they called the Niners, right? The Fraudy Niners?
The Fraudy Niners, yes. The Commanders, the first NFL team to put betting right inside the stadium. I think this is coming everywhere, and that's amazing. Amazing. Calvin Ridley is going to be the one in Atlanta making his bets before the game. Get your autographs right there. It's going to be great.
You can make your bets at the window while you have sewage leaking on you above you. It's amazing.
Insane, but it's awesome. I mean, this is the way we're going.
The one team, the dumpster fire organization is the one to put betting in.
Hey, maybe they'll get them a new stadium. I mean, they're going to have a new owner pretty soon, so that's good. All right, well, that's all the NFL talk we have. Our last headline of the week is some trouble in paradise here in Dallas for Luka calling out Mark Cuban. First of all, let's kind of break this backstory a little bit here, Craig. There is a mural painted by an artist of Luka Doncic with a sign that said "Send help," and Mark Cuban got his little. He got his emotions hurt, and he calls this artist up apparently and says, or he tweets him or whatever and says that this is disrespectful. I can't believe, basically,
you're not a real Mavs fan.
Yeah, basically calling him out, and because Mark Cuban can't take a joke or he's blind to the complete obvious of a basketball team that we're watching, and he gets him to. He's gonna take it down and paint something up else with Luka on it, and I'm sure that Luka probably called him up and gave him something, but or just called him on the phone and said, hey, can you change this up, or I don't know. But there's a report out there that Luka's come to management and said, hey, I want you guys to give me more help before this All-Star game. I need some help. I'm killing myself, breaking my back for this
before
team.
The trade deadline.
Yeah, before the All-Star game, is that what I said? Before the trade deadline, which is around that. Isn't it around that time? All-Star game, All-Star break.
Oh yeah, I don't know, but yeah.
But of course, this report is denied by Mark Cuban. Luka comes out and says he said that's not true. It's 100% true. Mark Cuban didn't want it getting out. Mark Cuban went up to Luka and said, "Hey, buddy, old pal, can we please throw some hot water on this for now?" Christian Wood just got injured with a broken thumb. He's week to week. See how long he's going to be out. This Dallas Maverick team is in shambles. They've been injury all year long. I will give Mark Cuban some slack with that. But this team you have assembled, you didn't get Dirk Nowitzki no help. That's what you're known for. And you're not giving Luka any help. You don't want to spend money. You don't want to go into the cap and spend money out of your own pocket because you don't have it. You're not as rich as the other owners in the NBA are. And we're going to see Luka walk out of this team. And I don't want any Mavs fan to be surprised when it happens because your owner, and this is why I'm gonna call out Ryan Sims, who got me to come over to be a Dallas Mavericks fan just because Luka's so good. I can't stand Mark Cuban. I think he's been a piss poor owner for the Dallas Mavericks. He continues to be a piss poor owner, and we're still waiting on Mr. Nike guy over there. What's his face? What's his name?
Nico
Harrison or Nico Harris. It's where all these connections are to get somebody because it hasn't paid off. And the one guy that you got in Christian Wood, your coach refuses to play, and the only reason he's getting playing time is because your team is injured. And that is more mind-boggling than the rest of it. Rant over, Craig. You take over.
Well, Christian Wood is, I told you this when you signed him. He's a defensive liability, and he
the whole team is. They gave 130 points a game. It's
I get it, but that's what I'm saying. When you signed him, if you go back and watch the podcast when you first signed him, I told you couldn't play defense. He's going to help you on the boards. He's going to help you on offense, but he's a turnstile. He just he shows people to the rim on defense. That's been Christian Wood's career. He's not playing because he gets in foul trouble. He plays 30 minutes a night because he's in the first 10 minutes he's got 4 fouls. Cuban's not gonna spend. He doesn't have the Ballmer money. He doesn't have the Phoenix.
Oh, they're gonna say the balls.
I
thought you were going that way.
He doesn't have that capital. He's got it. He has it, but he has it wrapped up in Shark Tank. He has it wrapped up in these Doja coins or whatever kind of deal. He doesn't have liquid assets to pay all this luxury tax, and that's fine. But just come out and say, I'm not going over the luxury tax. If I can get somebody to come in here, fine. But the trades you're trying to make, you're trying to trade a bad shooter for a bad shooter. You're trying to trade this guy for this guy.
Who'd we pick up when we let go just recently?
Well, you let Kemba Walker go, and he's trying to play
picked him up,
overseas.
and Ryan's Ryan here trying to tell me he's a good player.
And he had 30 points one game, and but Kemba Walker's Kemba Walker. There's a reason that the Detroit Pistons, who are terrible at basketball, they just bought him out and never let him play a basketball game. So, Kemba Walker's not the answer. And I get it. But Kemba Walker was under the $25,000 I'll come play for you thing. So Cuban's like, I'll throw $25,000 at you. Let's do that. The bottom line is you're not going to be able to extend Christian Wood and make a big contract. You're not going to be
unless he takes the 2-year minimal.
And that's what I'm saying. You're not getting so when JaVale McGee you're taking flyers. That's what Dallas does. You're trying to get guys on the back end of their career, and you're trying to catch lightning in a bottle like you did in 2011.
Yep, and it ain't going to happen.
And you caught lightning in a bottle last year. You caught Phoenix at the right time. You caught the Utah in injuries, and they're fighting amongst themselves, and that team blew up. And you made it to the Western Conference Finals. So Cuban's got that in his pocket.
That's the worst thing that could happen.
Absolutely, because he looks back and goes, I didn't have to spend money. I just got you to the Western Conference Finals. With this team, you just have to give me time to let it gel together. When he blew up the team that won the championship because he didn't want to spend money, that's what you're going to get. The Miami Marlins did this in baseball. Mm-hmm. They won the World Series, then they blew the whole team up. They were horrible for 5 years or 8 years. Then they won another World Series. Then they blew the team up. Cuban is going to try to catch lightning in a bottle, and one of these days he will, and it'll work, and you'll win another championship. But
You better do it before Luka leaves.
The problem is Luka's going to pack his bags, and I was laughing because I heard on the radio the other day that when they were going to change the painting, and they were going to change it to Luka wearing a backpack carrying all his keys going up the mountain.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't think that's what they wanted to change it
I would
to.
laugh if that guy doubles down. He's like, all right, I'll paint you something, Mark. Here you go.
Gonna have Luka with 5 guns in a backpack carrying up the side of a mountain.
Packing his bags and walking out the door.
Yeah. And so Nico Harris is a Nike representative because he knows Steph Curry, because he knows, all these guys, doesn't mean they're going to come run over there and play for him. It doesn't mean I can get you a shoe deal. I can't get you it's not the same pot of money. I can get you a Nike deal, but I can't get you a max contract. The bottom line is we're not maxing 4 guys out. It's never going to happen. So when Dinwiddie has a good game, when Christian Wood has 30 points, he's averaging 20 and 11. Mm-hmm. He's not terrible.
He's doing what you wanted Porzingis
He's doing what you wanted to do. But the bottom line is when that comes, you got to pay. When he does 20 and 11, you got to pay the 20 and 11.
Yeah.
Well, 20 and 11 is going to cost you more than the little pot you have left. You have a little pot, try to pay 6 guys because you max Luka out. No, I don't have any problem when you max Luka. He deserves it. But when you do that, and you don't want to go into luxury tax, when you don't have Golden State money, when you don't have Clipper money, when you don't have Laker money, you can't be the Clippers, the Lakers. You can't be them. So you're either going to have to find a coach that can use what you have and get the best out of it, i.e. the guy you just fired, who won you a championship with, I didn't give you a lot, but you made a lot out of it. Jason Kidd was not the answer. Jason Kidd was never the answer. He wasn't the answer in New Jersey. He wasn't the answer anywhere else. He's not going to be the answer here.
I just don't get refusing to play Christian Wood is absolutely stupid. That's stupid.
Yes.
Stupid.
And he walked into the press conference the other night after getting blown out by Atlanta, and he's like, we're not good at defense. That's what's going to happen. We're going to let up 130 some nights. Other nights, we're going to let up 90. Tonight, we let up 130.
And last year, they were good in defense. Where did it all go?
And because you can't have – I mean, first of all, Maxi Kleba, Dodo, they're hurt. They're all hurt. And so you have no rim protection. There was a guy the other night in the Atlanta game. You're down 4. There's 2 minutes left. Luka hits him on the wing. Wide open. He's wide open. There's not a player within 4 feet of him. Clang. I mean, not even close.
Yeah.
And you can't miss those shots. When you're in the NBA, when you get paid that kind of money, when you're wide open, you didn't have a guy jumping at you. You didn't have a guy. You didn't have a sidestep. You set your feet. And you weren't even close. And that's THJ's hurt. He's a ball hog. Like, the bottom line is, at the end of the day, you're going to have to either accept there's going to be ebbs and flows with the Dallas Mavericks. You're not going to win 60 games. You're just not. You're going to be a 5 seed. You're going to win a first round of the playoff, maybe, and you're going to exit. And that's what this team's going to be. And
Mark Cuban's trash, bro.
I don't disagree. But if you're not willing to go into luxury tax, if you're not willing to play with the big dogs, you're just going to have to accept the fact that this is what your team's going to be. And there might be a time, there might be a year that everything lines up and you catch the Lakers on the right day and you catch the Phoenix on the right day and you catch this team on the right day and you make it to the Western Conference Finals, or you catch this team and you catch that team and somebody's hurt and you guys had a good game and Jalen Brunson had the game of his career and you might make the finals. You might have a year where everybody's hurt in the NBA and you win the championship. Who knows? But the bottom line is you're not going to be consistently good with Cuban not going past the threshold. If a team's not willing to spend money, the teams that are good, the teams that compete every year, are the teams that are willing to go above the salary cap, pay the luxury tax. It's just like in baseball. Just like in baseball. When the Yankees had 2 checkbooks, they had one to pay all the players and one to pay the luxury tax. Guess what? They won all the World Series. Now, the son's taking over, and he's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not paying this penalty. I'm not paying the deal. Guess what? The New York Yankees haven't been to the World Series in a long time. And when you have the top payroll, you're more apt to do it. The Texas Rangers have not been good at baseball because they don't spend any money. Well, now they're spending money.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see
if it pays off.
If it pays off. But the bottom line is the teams that are successful in these sports are the guys that are willing to write the check. If you're willing to write the check and you're willing to – players are going to follow the money. They're not going to follow it. Luka will help. Playing with Luka will help. But not getting paid to play with Luka is not going to help. There's not too many people that are going to take league minimum just to come play with Luka. When they can go play with Durant and get paid. When they can go play with Steph and get paid. When they can go play with, Joker and get paid. If you're gonna be able to go somewhere else and get paid, that's who they're gonna go play for.
Well, all right, guys. It's been a pretty fiery episode. I like it. We got some good football games this weekend and some good playoff games slated. By the way, happy birthday, Craig.
Thank you, sir.
How old are you turning if you want to throw out a number? If you don't.
45.
45. All right. Well, congratulations on that. I hate birthdays now that I get older because I'm like every year just like, I'm just older and I'm just like whatever.
Another day of 14 hours.
14 hours. Getting your butts kicked because people can't route their routes.
Going back tomorrow for more fun.
Me too. I'll join you in that bag of fun with the stock show. I got to pick up the stock show cans and then do the route. All right. But anyways, what do you have planned this weekend for your birthday? The football. What do you got this week? What's in your locker this week?
Football and gonna have a get together out at mom and dad's house on Sunday. Have some smash burgers, and I guess the Dallas Cowboys are on, and they're not Dallas Cowboy fans, so it'll be wrapped up
before the game, before 3 o'clock, before 5 o'clock,
before 5 o'clock, because my dad wants to root against the Cowboys and doesn't want that.
Hey, maybe I'll go to your dad's house when the game starts.
There you go. Yeah, you guys can team up. Friends. Yeah, unite and MF the Cowboys and everybody be best friends. So anyhow, at the end of the day, the football is going to be good. I'm going to watch all 4 games, and we'll have a little get together on Sunday, and that's really about it. Saturday, I'm going to work tomorrow morning, but we should be done and wrapped up by 10, 11 o'clock, and home in time for these games, and that's about it.
I feel you. We got work tomorrow. I'll be home early. I got to clean the house, get it all nice and spiffy. And first game, I'm going to watch all 4. First game, if it gets to be a blowaway, I'll probably change the channel. And then tomorrow night, I got a buddy in my neighborhood coming down. We're going to order some wings at Wingstop and watch that game. Should be a pretty good game. So church on Sunday and more football as well. And then back to work on Monday. So, but guys, we hope you have a great weekend. We appreciate you guys coming on here and listening. We didn't have the comments today, dang it. But
can't believe Ryan didn't come in here and be like, "Dallas Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl."
Yeah, me neither. Or go off on me for saying they're going to lose by 10.
Yeah.
But I'll let them know how I feel. All right, guys. Let us know what you guys think. If you ever want to reach out to us, you can reach us on social media. You can reach us on TikTok. You can reach us on Facebook. You can email us at outspokensportscast@gmail.com. You can reach us anywhere you want. You can comment on our show on YouTube. You can listen to us as a podcast as well through all your podcast platforms. We appreciate you guys. God bless. And remember,
keep it outspoken.